Correct. Hello, good evening all of you. Welcome to our session. Hope you have studied these topics we have discussed last time. We were discussing the cardiac cycle. Okay. In that connection, I told you, during every systole of the ventricle, 70 ml of blood is pumped to the arteries. 70 ml to the pulmonary artery, 70 ml to the aorta, which is called stroke volume. And on an average, 72 times our heart is contracting per minute. That is the frequency. So, in 1 minute, 72 times. In each time, 70 ml. So, average 5 liters of blood will be pumped from each ventricle to the respective arteries, which is called cardiac output. In an athlete, the cardiac output may be varying. He can make cardiac output as well as the stroke volume slightly changed. NCERT okay. And this is the cycle of events that are occurring during a cardiac cycle, and the time taken for one cycle is 0.8 seconds, and of which atrial systole lasts for only 0.1 second, ventricular systole 0.3 seconds, and half of the time, that is 0.4 seconds, it is jaw end diastole. ഇതൊക്കെ 28 ഏഴല്ലേ? ഇതിലേക്ക് ഇത് മുകളിലേക്ക് പോട്ടെ, നോക്കട്ടെ. Correct. Okay. Any doubt up to this level? Anybody? And we discussed the ECG. For a simple ECG, minimum 3 electrodes should be connected, but for continuous monitoring, more number of electrodes are connected to the body of the patient. Okay. And any deviation in the ECG, either in its shape or in number, will be an indication of a possible abnormality or a disease. So, it is of great clinical significance. Now we pass on to the next point, namely double circulation. So, we are going to the previous diagram. What is that? Our heart is not moving. See, I will be drawing a new diagram for you. In our case, our heart is a double heart. Okay. The right side is concerned with impure blood. It is pumping blood to the lungs. Okay. It is pumping blood to the lungs. And after oxygenation, that blood is returning. It is returning by pulmonary veins. These are the pulmonary veins. So, through the pulmonary artery, blood is leaving the right ventricle, okay, reaching the lungs, and after oxygenation, reaching the left atria. This circulation is called pulmonary circulation. It is called pulmonary circulation because heart is pumping blood to the lungs, pulmonary organ. That is why the right part of the right side of the heart is called pulmonary heart. It includes right atria and right ventricle. It is pumping blood to the lungs. Okay. So, what is pulmonary circulation? Blood from right ventricle pumped to the pulmonary arteries, reaching the lungs, and from lungs it is brought back by pulmonary veins to the left atria. This is a closed circulation, very small circulation. So, it is also called lesser circulation. It is also called lesser circulation. Now, that oxygenated blood from left atria is entering into the left ventricle. It is reaching the left ventricle. Okay. From left ventricle, that oxygenated blood is pumped. It is pumped to different systems of the body through the aorta. So aorta is taking that pure blood to different systems. So it's called systemic circulation. This systemic circulation is taking a greater. So it's called greater circulation. It is taking a longer route. So it's called greater circulation. Blood leaves the left ventricle through the aorta. It is reaching different systems of the body, and from these systems through the veins, through the important veins, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, it is reaching back to the right atrium. So blood is always leaving from ventricle and reaching the atrium. Understand one more point. Blood from the right side reaches the left side only after passing through the pulmonary circulation. So, in pulmonary circulation, blood from right side reaches the left side, and blood from left side of the heart reaches the right side, from the left side to the right side, after passing through the systemic circulation. So you are having blood reaching the other side of the heart only after passing through a circulation, and during these two circulation, blood is never mixing together. There is no mixing of pure and impure blood. These two circulations are always separate. It is because that we are having two atria and two ventricles. That's why our heart is capable of working as a double heart. Right side is acting as the heart, that is pumping organ for pumping blood to the lungs. Similarly, left side is pumping blood to the systems. So it is called systemic heart. So left side is called systemic heart, right side is called pulmonary heart. It is a double pump, and we are having double circulation. Only birds and mammals are having this double circulation where there is no mixing of blood. Blood is taking two different routes, always taking through two different routes where there is no mixing. That is the reason why they are all physiologically more advanced than lower vertebrates. So warm-blooded vertebrates are physiologically more advantageous, more adapted than cold-blooded vertebrates. Is that point clear? Now, it is clear from this one that we are having two types of blood vessels. What are they? They are all arteries and veins. We call them as arteries and veins. What is an artery? Artery is a blood vessel that takes blood away from heart Always that blood vessel that is taking to further and further parts of the body, that blood vessel is called an artery. And a vein is always bringing towards heart. It need not bring blood to the heart, but nearer to heart. Any blood vessel that is bringing blood nearer to heart, towards heart. It need not be to the heart. It is called a vein. You are having renal, portal veins, hepatic portal veins. These are not bringing blood to the heart directly, but it is bringing blood closer to the heart. That is why it is called veins. Arteries are thick-walled. Remember, a blood vessel is an organ. It is having several types of tissues like muscular tissue, epithelial tissue, connective tissue, etc. And they are all arranged in 3 layers. You are having 3 layers. The innermost layer is made up of a thin layer of flat squamous epithelium. It is called endothelium. We are having 3 layers for a blood vessel. You are having 3 layers for a blood vessel, whether it is an artery or a vein. Innermost layer is a thin, very thin, flat squamous epithelium which gives a smooth lining. It is a smooth lining. Then outer to that you are having muscles, smooth muscles, involuntary muscles. These involuntary muscles are forming a thick layer. So this is the myotelium. So myo means muscles, and always there will be a tough outer connective tissue layer that forms the outermost layer. So these are the 3 layers. The cavity inside is called lumen. It is through the lumen that the blood is flowing. Now what I want to tell you is that in artery the lumen is narrow. Narrow lumen. Why? Because you are having a very thick wall. Why they are having a thick wall? Because the muscular layer, the middle smooth muscular layer is very thick. That's why arteries are having thick wall and narrow lumen. Whereas a vein will be having thin walls. The muscular layer will be very, very thin. And so the lumen will be wide. Lumen is wider. You are having such 3 layers in both arteries and veins. An artery will be ending in capillaries. They will branch and branch and branch and will end in very thin blood vessels called capillaries. They end up in capillaries. What is a capillary? The smallest blood vessel, which are all present in tissues where you are having only the inner squamous epithelium, endothelium, that alone is present. We studied endothelium in connection with breathing. You are having endothelium, capillaries of the alveoli. It is made up of only endothelium. So that is why gases are exchanged, materials are exchanged. So in capillaries, there is no middle muscular or outer connective tissue layer. You are having only endothelium. Arteries end up in capillaries. A vein always begin in capillaries. Okay. So these are the main differences. Don't think that arteries will be always carrying oxygenated blood. No, you are having pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery is taking blood away from heart. That's why it is an artery. It contains impure blood. They are all carrying the deoxygenated blood, impure blood to the lungs for oxygenation. Whereas pulmonary veins, they are bringing blood towards or to the heart. They are bringing in pure. Though it is a vein, it is carrying pure blood. Because it is bringing blood to the heart, it is called a vein. Now you understand the definition for an artery and a vein? Now, there are some blood vessels that both begins and end up in capillaries. Those which are all both begin and end up in capillaries are called portal system. Why they are called portal system? Portal, that which carry something. They are meant for carrying something. In our body, we are having only one portal system, hepatic portal system. They begin in capillaries in the alimentary canal and end up in liver as capillaries. Since they are all ending up in liver, we call it as hepatic portal. Why it is a portal? It is beginning and ending and is carrying something. But they are all carrying all the nutrients that are all digested are absorbed to the blood and it is carried to the liver. So it is carrying the nutrients that they have been absorbing from the alimentary canal. In lower animals like frog, there is a renal portal system also. Why it is called renal portal? Because it is ending up in renal, that is kidney. They carry blood from lower part of the body and take them to the kidney. That is why it is called renal portal. Renal portal carries waste material to the kidneys. So they transport something from one point to another. That is why it is called portal system. So a portal system begins and end up in capillaries. An artery always end up in capillaries. Veins always begin in capillaries. Is that point clear? We are having a hepatic portal system. This hepatic portal system carries blood from intestine to the liver before it is delivered to the systemic circulation. A special coronary system of blood vessel is also present. What is coronary? Corona. It is connected with the heart. Heart is an organ. Its walls also require blood. It is supplied by a coronary artery. This coronary artery arises from aorta before it comes out of the heart. It branches and gives blood to the muscles of the heart. Similarly, blood is taken back from these muscles by coronary veins, which is also called coronary sinus. They open to the right atrium. So, coronary arteries take blood to the muscles of the heart, and coronary veins bring back blood from these muscles, heart muscles, to the right atrium. It is exclusively for the circulation of blood to and from the cardiac musculature. Okay? Any doubt up to this? So, you are having an artery with a small lumen. A vein is having very large lumen because the musculature is very thin. Whereas in artery, muscles are very thick. Any doubt up to this level? Pulmonary circulation, also called lesser circulation, then greater circulation or systemic circulation. Then you are having portal system, hepatic portal system. Okay. The inner endothelium can be also called as tunica intima. It is also called tunica. Tunica means layer. So, innermost. So, it is called tunica intima. Musculature is myothelium. It is in the middle. So, it is called tunica media. Middle layer. And the outermost connective tissue is called tunica externa. Tunica means layer. Layer outside, tunica externa, made up of connective tissues. Tunica media, made up of muscles, smooth muscles. So, it is also called myothelium, and internal, smooth, flat, squamous epithelium. It is forming endothelium, which is called tunica intima. These are the three layers. Whereas in capillaries, you are having only tunica intima, which is made up of thin, flat endothelium. Thin, flat, squamous epithelium. Okay. Now we pass on to so this is the general view of our circulation. Okay. We are having double circulation. Now, how heart functioning are controlled and regulated? Our functions are, our heart is regulated by the heart itself. It is auto-excitable. We are having a myogenic heart. The muscles of the heart are controlling the functioning of the heart itself. That is why it is called myogenic. Whereas in a cockroach, in an invertebrate, the working of the heart are controlled by their nervous system, their brain. So it is called neurogenic. So there are two types of heart. In general, invertebrate hearts are neurogenic, whereas our heart is myogenic. Vertebrate heart is myogenic. This is the reason why you can cut and remove all the nerve connection to the heart and take the heart out of the body and give it to another one. You might have heard of heart transplantations. When the function of the heart is highly changed and very risky, we have to change our heart transplantation. How it is possible? We have to take a functional heart from a brain dead man and replant to that sick person. This is happening because, this is possible because our heart is myogenic. Our heart is controlled by special type of muscles called nodal tissues. Okay. Normal activities of the heart are regulated intrinsically, that is internally. Our heart muscles themselves are controlling the normal functioning of the heart. It is auto-regulated, self-controlled by specialized muscles called nodal tissues. We are having two nodal tissues, SA node, AV node. These are all specialized muscles. Okay. So, our heart is called myogenic. Myogenic means genic, regulated by our muscles. So, muscles are regulating the normal functioning. That is why it is called regulated intrinsically. Nobody from outside. It is not from brain or nervous system that is controlling the heart. A special neural center is present again in brain. Still, to bring some minor changes, you are having a center in the brain. Okay. Moving it on. See, in the brain, the last part is called hindbrain. In that hindbrain, we are having the medulla oblongata. In that medulla oblongata, there is a center called cardiac center. We studied that medulla oblongata is also having respiratory centers. So, this is the cardiac center. From this cardiac center, signals are coming through the autonomous nervous system. What is autonomous? Autonomous is involuntarily regulating our internal functionings. It consists of two parts, sympathetic and parasympathetic. When the signal from this cardiac center is activating the sympathetic system, then it will increase what? Both cardiac output, it is increasing heart output or cardiac output, and rate of heartbeat, then heartbeat become faster and faster. So the cardiac output will be increased. And this is occurring when we are in emergency situations or when you are all frightened. When you are all in emergency situations or when you are all frightened, our heartbeat stronger. So stronger rate and strength will be increasing. So that cardiac output will be increasing. Whereas if the signals are activating our parasympathetic system, this parasympathetic system will be suppressing. It is suppressing or decreasing, not suppressing, it is decreasing the cardiac output. That means the rate is also lowered and the strength of contraction will be lowered. So after that emergency situation, the heart should be brought back to normalcy. So that increased rate and increased strength should be brought back to normalcy. That is what is called decreasing or suppressing. Okay. So through autonomous nervous system, by sympathetic and parasympathetic chains or systems, it is regulating the functioning of the heart. Either it is increasing if sympathetic system is activated, and if parasympathetic system is activated, it is parasympathetic activated means it is coming back. So it is controlled by autonomous nervous system. We are having this autonomous nervous system, thus neural signals through the sympathetic system can increase the rate of heartbeat as well as the strength of ventricular contraction, thereby the cardiac output. On the other hand, parasympathetic neural signal, which is another component of autonomous nervous system, decreases the rate of the heartbeat, speed of conduction of action potential, and thereby the cardiac output. Okay. Then, along with that neuronal control, you are also having a hormonal control. We know that when you are all afraid, or when you are all in fear, or when you are in emergency situation, our adrenal glands are producing the medullary hormone, adrenaline. That medullary hormone is called adrenaline. So you please write it. It is adrenaline. Medullary hormone, adrenaline. This adrenaline can increase the cardiac output. That is why when you are all in fear or when you are in an emergency situation, heart rate is increased. Clear? So, though the functioning of the heart is controlled by the muscles of the heart itself, it can be modulated, it can be altered, changed slightly. Okay, it can be increased or it can be decreased by the cardiac center as well as by the secretions of the adrenal hormone called adrenaline. Cardiac center will activate either sympathetic system or parasympathetic system. If sympathetic system is activated, it increases the cardiac output, and in contrary, if it is through the parasympathetic system, it will reduce, come back to the normal situation. That is how heart is controlled in its functioning. Now coming to the last part, disorders of the circulatory system. Remember, blood is filling the whole lumen of blood vessels, and during every contraction of the ventricle, blood is pumped into, forcibly pumped into the arteries which are already filled with blood. So, when more blood is pumped, there will be more pressure. Pressure exerted by blood on the walls of the artery is called blood pressure. Pressure exerted by blood on the walls of the artery is called blood pressure. So, during ventricle contraction, ventricular systole, more blood is pumped, meaning it will cause an increase in pressure. This increased pressure during systole is called systolic pressure, and during its diastole, pressure will be lowered. That is called diastolic pressure. Okay, we can measure the pressure with the help of a very simple sphygmomanometer. Simply we call it as BP apparatus. It is correctly called sphygmomanometer. Okay. During systole, it will be a bit high. During diastole, it will be a bit low. So, normally, this is the recorded value. 120 mm of mercury is the systolic pressure, or when the heart is pumping, and 80 milligram of mm of mercury is the diastolic pressure or resting pressure. Okay, in a healthy man this will be. But as age advances, sometimes old people will be having a higher values. If the value is 140 during systole and 90 during diastole, it is called 140 over 90. It is called hypertension if that pressure is retained. Okay, if this is the pressure value for longer periods, or if it is that permanent value of a man, then he is suffering from what is called hypertension. Hyper means above normal. So, normal value is 120/80. A pressure value over and above this one is called hypertension. When a person is suffering from hypertension, remember, hypertension, or simply we call it as pressure, it is a silent killer. Because when pressure is high, small capillaries will be easily be broken. They will be burst open and lead to bleeding in organs like brain, kidneys, lungs, etc. So, hypertension is very, very dangerous. Okay. So, it will affect organs like brain, kidneys, etc. Then, coronary artery diseases. What is coronary artery disease? It is called atherosclerosis. What is atherosclerosis? This is the blood vessel. Okay, you are having the inner lumen of the blood vessel supplying the muscles of the heart. That is coronary artery. It is a very small artery. Its lumen is also small. But sometimes this lumen will be blocked by deposit of materials like calcium. You will be having deposits of calcium or cholesterol, lipids, etc. That will be reducing the lumen. So, the lumen is very much reduced. It becomes smaller and smaller. When the lumen becomes smaller and smaller, what will happen? Only lesser amount of blood will be passing to the muscles of the heart. This thickening is called atherematic plaques. It is called atherematic plaque. Plaque means deposits. So, plaques or deposits of calcium or cholesterol or fat will be causing severe damage to the walls of the coronary artery and reduces the blood supply to the coronary muscles. When muscles are not getting sufficient oxygenated blood, it will cause severe pain. That pain in the muscles is called angina pectoris. Pectoris means pectoral, chest. Chest muscles, they will be having pain. So, the pain in the muscles of the heart, that is generally called angina. A symptom of acute chest pain appear when no enough oxygen is reaching the heart muscles. The main reason is that you are having atherosclerotic plaques on the walls of the coronary artery that is supplying blood. So because of the plaque, the lumen is reduced. So less amount of oxygen is flowing, less amount of oxygenated blood is flowing through the coronary artery. So sufficient amount of oxygen is not available to the coronary muscles. Okay. Angina occur in both men and women of any age, but more common in middle-aged and elderly, because as age advances, there will be more and more deposits of cholesterol, especially when you are having more cholesterol. That is why people will be checking blood for cholesterol. And that coronary artery disease is the main reason why oxygen availability with the coronary muscles are very much reduced. It is more common among middle-aged and elderly, and it occurs due to the condition that affects the blood flow. Okay. Then heart failure. What is the meaning of heart failure? What is the function of the heart? Pumping of oxygenated blood. That is the functioning of the heart. Heart is a pumping organ. When heart fails in its duty, when heart is not pumping enough oxygenated blood, we say that heart has failed in its duty. That is what is called heart failure. When enough oxygenated blood is not pumped by the heart, it results in heart failure. That is very fatal. It can result in death. So, heart failure may be caused by a congestion in the lungs. So, it is very often stated that heart failure means a state of heart when it is not pumping blood effectively enough to meet the needs of the body. It's sometimes called congestive heart failure because congestion of the lung is one of the main symptoms of this disease. So, there will be a congestion in the lungs. That is the most important symptom. So, heart is failing to pump sufficiently oxygenated blood to the demands of the body. When the heart is failing in its duty, we call it as heart failure. Don't mistake it as heart attack. Heart attack is entirely different thing. Heart attack is called myocardial infarction. Heart attack is called myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction. This is heart attack. What is heart attack? When muscles of the heart are not getting sufficient oxygenated blood, the muscles break down. When the muscles break down, they can never be regenerated. So, once muscle is broken down, the heart becomes weaker. Its strength of contraction and force of its pumping become very much reduced. That's why a man who has suffered from a heart attack should not do very strenuous work, a work which requires more power, because their heart is weaker. He had already suffered from an attack, muscles have become broken, and now there is only little amount of muscles in heart, so it is weaker. That's why after second attack, if a third attack comes, the chance of survival is very, very, very negligible. So, heart attack is breaking down of muscles of the heart because of the absence of sufficient oxygenated blood. If sufficient oxygenated blood is not reaching the muscles, muscles break down. That muscle breaking down is called myocardial infarction or heart attack. So, the muscle is suddenly damaged by inadequate blood supply. And What is heart failure? Heart failure is failure of the heart to pump sufficiently oxygenated blood to the demands of the body. It is also different from cardiac arrest. So don't get confused between these three terms. Cardiac arrest means it is arrested. Heart is suddenly stopping its action. Heart suddenly stops contraction. Okay, heart stops beating. That's called cardiac arrest. That will be resulting in death. So massive cardiac arrest means it is not pumping blood. It has been arrested. Heart is not working. So it stops beating. So these are all very dangerous situations. Heart failure is different from cardiac arrest, which is different from myocardial infarction. Also, I will tell you one more point. We will be having a problem as age advances. What is that? The arteries gradually loses its elasticity. Normally, arterial walls are very thick because of the thick tunica media which contains muscles, collagen fibers, elastic fibers, etc. So, mainly because of that elastin fibers, the arterial walls are showing elasticity, ability to dilate. When more blood is coming, it is dilating, immediately relax. So, during the blood flow, there will be a recoiling and then extension of the walls of the arteries. This extension and recoiling, expansion and coming back is called pulse. For that, there must be good elasticity for the arterial walls. But as age advances, arterial walls loses this elasticity. It becomes more and more hard. It becomes less elastic. And hardening of the muscles of the or the walls of the artery is called arteriosclerosis. Arterial muscles are or arterial walls are in general losing their elasticity. Because of that loss in elasticity, they become more hard. That hardening is called arteriosclerosis. This is different from atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is the narrowing of the lumen. Okay, it is the narrowing of the lumen, whereas arteriosclerosis is the hardening of the muscles of the blood vessel, especially arteries. Because of arteriosclerosis, the heart has to pump with more force, then only arterial walls will dilate. Then only you will be having the pulse created. This is the reason why old people will be having normally a higher pressure. To have 140/80 is normal for a aged man. His systolic pressure may be a bit high, but diastolic pressure should not be over 90. You can call hypertensive only if the diastolic pressure is 90 or above. So diastolic pressure is to be taken into account more. It should not be 90 or above. If a man is having 150/80, he is normal because his systolic pressure is a bit high. It is because of his old age. It is not hypertensive. He is not at all a hypertensive. But if a man is 130/90 or 130/100, definitely he is hypertensive because his diastolic pressure is more than 90. Whenever diastolic pressure is 90 or above, that it is called a hypertensive one. Hypertension is a dangerous situation. So, arteriosclerosis can cause increased pressure. It may cause an increased pressure during systole, but diastolic pressure should be normal. So, arteriosclerosis is not atherosclerosis. Both are different. Is that clear? Any doubt? When the SA node is not working properly, the rhythm of the heart will be disrupted. And we have to make an implant, an artificial pacemaker. We may require an artificial pacemaker to be implanted. That artificial pacemaker contains a lithium battery, a pulse generator, etc., which is kept in the chest region, and its electrode will be placed in the position of the atrial wall, exactly in the SA node position. So, exactly like the SA node, this will be producing, this pulsator will be producing same rhythm, same signals, in the same frequency, which will be conducted throughout the heart. So, this will be going on functioning, and only thing is that you may have to change this battery after, say, for example, 10 years, 15 years, like that. This is called an implant. Artificial pacemaker is to be implanted if the pacemaker, natural pacemaker, that is SA node, is not functioning properly. That's a word that you have to remember. You need not go for whole heart transplant. Only thing is that a small instrument by name implant. Okay, pacemaker, which is called pacemaker. That pacemaker is to be implanted inside our thoracic part of your body. It is made a permanent one. It will be there for your life. Okay, that's all. So with that, we come to the conclusion of the chapter body fluids and their circulation. Any doubt from this part? Anybody? I will give you 2 minutes time, 2 to 5 minutes time to ask me and clear your doubts. Any doubt? Any doubt? സെക്കൻഡ് ഇയറിൻ്റെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ഏതോ ഒരു കുട്ടി ഇതുവരെ കാണാത്ത കുട്ടി കയറി വന്ന് എന്തോ ഒരു ഡൗട്ട് ചോദിച്ചു. അതെ, കറക്റ്റ്. ഇതും ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്തോളൂ. Hello, welcome back. Now we'll be starting our new chapter, namely excretory products and their elimination. So we have studied that we get energy for doing our body activities by the oxidation of the food materials. For that, we take food. Food is the raw material which is oxidized, and for this oxidation, we take oxygen through breathing. And these nutrients and oxygen are taken to all cells of the body through circulatory system. That's the main function of circulation, transportation of materials. So, as a result of metabolism, not only energy is produced, but also some unwanted materials and other side products, byproducts are also produced. So, because of metabolism, some byproducts are also removed. Okay, there are carbon dioxide, water, ammonia, etc. Of this, carbon dioxide is sent out through breathing. Ammonia is a dangerous material and it is mainly produced when you are all metabolizing nitrogen containing organic materials like proteins, amino acids or nucleic acids. When these are all metabolized, the nitrogen in them is removed in the form of ammonia. So it is by oxidation of nitrogenous nutrients that ammonia is produced. Water is also produced, but it is an essential material. We want water. So it need not be sent out of the body immediately. It need be sent out only if it is excess in our body. So mainly carbon dioxide, water and nitrogenous waste materials are produced as a result of metabolism. Now, you can also have excess of food present in your body. You have taken more than what is required. So that excess material is also to be sent out. That may contain ions like sodium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, sulfates, etc. That is also to be sent out. They may be produced also as a byproduct, metabolic activities or by other means like excess ingestion. You have taken more than what body requires. So these substances have been removed totally or partially from your body, and sending out of nitrogenous waste material is called excretion. Sending out of carbon dioxide, you will not be calling it as excretion. Sending out of nitrogenous waste material is generally called as excretion. How nitrogenous waste materials are produced? Nitrogenous waste material is produced when nitrogenous products are metabolized. Mainly protein, amino acids, nucleic acids. And what is the main material? Nitrogenous waste material? Ammonia. So ammonia is a waste material. This ammonia is to be sent out of the body immediately. Why? Because of two reasons. One, ammonia is highly soluble in water. And when it dissolves in water, it forms ammonium hydroxide, which is a strong alkali that will upset the pH of our body systems. Remember, our blood is having a constant pH. Its pH value will be varying from 7.2 to 7.4. That is the normal pH value of our blood. 7.2 to 7.4, slightly alkaline. Whereas this ammonia, if it is retained, is highly soluble, it will be forming ammonium hydroxide and it will interfere with the normal metabolism. It will upset the pH of the body. So every system will be affected. So it is very dangerous. But there is no problem. Ammonia is highly soluble in water. And in the dissolved form, it will be easily diffusing out. So what is the problem with ammonia? In invertebrates, which are generally living in water, ammonia can be easily sent out because it is easily diffusing out of through the general body surface. Ammonia will be easily diffusing through the general body surface. So it is not at all a problem. Excretion is not at all a problem in lower invertebrates like sponges, coelentrates, etc. But that is not the case with advanced organisms, especially those who cannot afford loss of water. See, ammonia can be sent out only in the form of a dissolved solution. So, lot of water is to be sent out. The body will be losing a lot of water. So, only aquatic animals can afford the loss of water when they are sending out ammonia. Nitrogenous waste materials which are all sent out in the form of ammonia from the body is called ammonotelium. And such animals are called ammonotelic. So, who are all ammonotelic? You are having invertebrates, especially aquatic invertebrates like fishes, bony fishes. They are all sending out this ammonia through their gills. Okay. Aquatic amphibians, aquatic insects. All of them are aquatic because only aquatic animals are capable of affording that much loss of water from the body. They can alone afford loss of water, that much of water from body. So, it is through the general body surface or through the gills surface. The ammonia, which is highly soluble, is excreted. It is either through the general body surface or through the gill surface as ammonium ions. And since ammonia is sent out through the gill surfaces, kidneys are not playing any significant role for excretion in fishes, especially bony fishes. Then, what is the function of the kidney? Kidney is mainly performing other functions like regulation of salt, pH, etc. in the body. Okay. So, that is about the ammonotelism and ammonotelics. So, who are all ammonotelics? Bony fishes, aquatic amphibians, aquatic insects. Now, terrestrial animals cannot afford the loss of water. Their problem is how to conserve, how to store water in their body. They cannot afford loss of water. Okay. So, their mechanism is how to store the water that is already present. They are losing water because of evaporation. They are living in dry conditions. So, their problem is to conserve water. They don't have much water to be lost from the body. So, they cannot send ammonia in the form of a highly dilute solution. So, in them, they are all converted either into urea or into uric acid. If nitrogen waste material is sent out in the form of urea, then that mechanism is called ureotelism. And such animals are called ureotelic. Who are all ureotelic? Animals that are sending out Nitrogen waste material in the form of urea. They are adult amphibians and adult mammals. So we are all ureotelic. We send out urea. What is the advantage of sending waste material in the form of urea? Two advantages. One is that urea is less toxic than ammonia. So it need not be sent out as soon as it is formed. It can be retained in the body for some time. It need not be sent immediately because it is less toxic. Second one, urea can be made into a solution, a concentrated solution. So with little amount of water, it can be sent out. So water that is lost during their excretion is only smaller in quantity. So that is the second advantage. Okay. Still, remember, urea is sent out in the form of concentrated solution. Some amount of water is still lost. There are some organisms who cannot afford loss of water from the body. They cannot afford loss of water from body. So they cannot send out urea from body. Instead, that nitrogen waste material is converted into a solid crystal called uric acid, which is insoluble. And in the form of uric acid, it is sent out as pellets, as dry crystals. So there is no need of water loss. Such animals which are sending out nitrogen waste material in the form of uric acid is called uricotelics, and this mechanism is called uricotelism. Who are all uricotelics? We are having reptiles, birds, insects. They are all uricotelic. They send out waste material in the form of solid crystals or pellets. Okay, so these are the three main ways, three main mechanisms seen among animals to send out this nitrogenous waste material. So uric acid is having one more advantage. What is that? It is least toxic among the three chemicals. Ammonia is the most toxic, urea less toxic, uric acid least toxic. So even if the uric acid is not sent out of the body, no problem. It is not at all toxic to our body. Okay, so some animals are keeping the uric acid for a long time inside the body itself. It will not be affecting their body functioning. So the decreasing order of toxicity of nitrogen waste material is that most toxic ammonia, less toxic urea, least toxic uric acid. Suppose a question comes. Arrange the correct order of arrangement of nitrogenous waste material in the decreasing order of toxicity. The answer should be ammonia, urea, uric acid. Is that point clear? Any doubt up to this level? So now you understood how ammonia is produced and why animals are converting them into urea or uric acid. Any doubt up to this level? So you are having three mechanisms. What are they? You are having ammonotelism, ureotelism, uricotelism. You may have a doubt. I told you reptiles are uricotelic, but there are two representatives of reptiles which are all aquatic. They spend more time in water. What are they? They are all crocodiles and chelonians, turtles. Turtles, kadalam. So, crocodile and turtles, when they are all in land, on land, when they are all on land, they are all uricotelic. Both of them are uricotelic. But while in water, crocodile is monotelic. It is monotelic. Crocodile is monotelic. Whereas turtles are ureotelic. These are the points that you have to keep it in mind. Same animal, when they are all in two different media, they will be opting for two different types of excretion. And marine cartilage fishes, especially sharks, they are all having a mechanism of storing this. They are all converting the ammonia into urea, and that urea is stored in their body. Why? To increase their body fluids concentration. Osmolarity of the body fluids is to be made equal to the surrounding seawater. When the salt concentration in the blood is equal to that of the surrounding water, no water enter into or no water goes out of the body. It becomes isotonic. It becomes equal to that of the surrounding water. So to make their body fluids isotonic with the seawater outside, the sharks are having, cartilage fishes are having an ability to store large amount of urea in the body fluids. That is another point. Cartilage fishes are also ureotelic. Bony fishes in the freshwater are mainly monotelic, but cartilage fishes are mainly ureotelic. Now, one more. The spiders, scorpion, etc., they are coming under arachnida. Group Arachnida. Class Arachnida of phylum Arthropoda. They are converting the nitrogen-based material in the form of guanine, guanotelic. Spiders and scorpion, they are all guanotelic. They are converting nitrogen-based in the form of guanine. So these are some points that you have to remember along with excretion. Again, lower animals which are all monotelic will not be having any special organ for excretion for sending out these waste materials. They will be simply sending out these waste materials through the general body surface. So lower invertebrates, they don't have any special organ. Through the general body surface, ammonia is sent out. But from platyhelminths onwards, we are having special organs for sending out platyhelminths are having flame cells. Flame cells are also called protonephridia. They are having protonephridia as their excretory organ. Ask helminths. Please take down this note, this chart. Ask helminths are having some tubes called rennet cells as their excretory structures. Arthropods. Among arthropods, in crustacea, that is crab, prawn, etc., they are having antennary glands. A special structure called antennary glands, which are also called green glands for excretion. Insects are having Malpighian tubules, spiders, that is Arachnida, is having coxal organ for excretion. Then among mollusks, you are having kidneys or organ of Bojanus, Kebber's organ. Such organs are all present in them. In Echinodermata, actually there is no special organ, because when water is circulated through the body, through that outgoing water, ammonia will be sent out. In Annelida, annelids are having nephridia, all the tubes called nephridia. Nephridia is the excretory organ. Okay. Then you are having in cephalochordata, Amphioxus. Amphioxus is the example. Coming under cephalochordata, you are having specialized organ called a specialized structure called nephridia, that is the actual organ, with flame cell-like structures. Flame cell-like structures. Flame cell-like structures are the very simple type of excretory structures seen in platyhelminths. That is why in our book it is given in platyhelminths, in cephalochordates, Amphioxus, in rotifera, etc. You are having flame cells, protonephridia or flame cells. It is called protonephridia, primitive nephridia. Okay, so our time is coming to a conclusion. We will continue the list next week. Okay, we have to study about the different organs meant for excretion in all groups. Only invertebrates you have completed. Invertebrates we have to study the excretory organs. That we will continue next week. So thank you all. Thank you very much. Okay, please read the book thoroughly, and if you are having any doubt, please let me know. So with this, I conclude my session and say goodbye and good night. So So once again, thank you all. Thank you very much.